Let's get right down to business today. If you pay any attention to the geopolitical chessboard right now, you understand that tensions in the Pacific are running hotter than a suppressed AR after a mag dump. We aren't here to play pundit or guess what politicians are going to do. As responsible citizens and tactically minded shooters, our job is to understand the hardware our potential adversaries are carrying. If the United States ever ends up going toe-to-toe with the PLA, we need to know exactly what kind of ballistic threats are coming our way. Today, we are heading down the rabbit hole of Chinese military sidearms. We are looking at everything from their early 20th century imports all the way up to their modern armor-defeating polymer platforms. And frankly, looking at the ballistics of their current issue duty weapons, we might need to rethink our own defensive loadouts here at home. Let's kick things off with a true classic, the Mauser C96. Most of you recognize this iconic silhouette as the standard Broomhandle. While it might look like a prop from a retro sci-fi flick to the younger crowd, this was a devastatingly effective combat tool back in the early 1900s. Due to various international arms embargoes restricting rifle shipments into China, this oversized handgun stepped in to fill the void for local warlords and infantrymen alike. It was originally chambered in the 7.63 Mauser. Let me tell you, that is a hot, high-velocity cartridge for its era. Think of it as the granddaddy to the modern 357 SIG. It gave the shooter an incredibly flat trajectory, allowing them to engage targets well beyond standard pistol range. During the Japanese invasion of 1937, Chinese forces on all sides relied heavily on these German-engineered hand cannons. From a collector's standpoint, the quality variance on these is wild. You will find original German imports that lock up tighter than a bank vault, right alongside domestic copies that look like they were chiseled out of scrap metal by a blind blacksmith. Shanxi Type 17, the big bore solution. This brings us to a fascinating piece of logistical problem solving. During the Second World War, Chinese forces were being supplied with American Thompson submachine guns. Now, anyone who has ever packed a range bag knows that running multiple calibers is a massive headache. The Thompson was eating 45 ACP while their sidearms were still running the bottlenecked 7.63 Mauser. To fix this supply chain bottleneck, a regional general commissioned the Shanxi Type 17. They essentially took the Broomhandle design and scaled the whole thing up. They built it specifically to chamber the heavy, subsonic 45 ACP. It utilized a massive 10-round fixed magazine right in front of the trigger. I have handled one of these, and the balance is incredibly front-heavy. You sacrifice a lot of the long-range precision that the original Mauser had, but it hit with absolute authority in close quarters. Unfortunately, finding an authentic one today is like finding a unicorn, since the communist regime scrapped most of them post-war to standardize their ammunition inventory. Moving into the Cold War era, the Soviet influence takes over completely. They were also utilizing the Stechkin APS. This is a firearm that gave American intelligence a lot of heartburn back in the day. The Stechkin is a 9mm machine pistol, equipped with a select fire switch. It feeds from a 20-round stick magazine and uses a bulky wooden holster that attaches to the grip to form a shoulder stock. Shooting a lightweight straight blowback gun on fully automatic is a violent experience. The muzzle climb is incredibly aggressive. You aren't using this for surgical hostage rescue shots. It was designed purely for laying down a terrifying cyclic rate of fire inside a trench or a tight urban environment. Type 54, the armor piercer. Next up is the legendary Type 54, universally known as the Black Star. This is the gun most veterans associate with the Korean and Vietnam conflicts. It is a direct clone of the Soviet Tokarev TT-33. Internally, it borrows heavily from the John Moses Browning 1911 playbook, but it is much thinner and lacks a grip safety. The real story here is the ammunition. It fires the 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev. On the range, we have tested this round against level 3A Kevlar vests, and it will zip right through soft armor like a hot knife through butter. It only holds 8 rounds, and the grip angle is completely unnatural, forcing the muzzle to point downward when you present it to the target. It is an ergonomic nightmare, but it is rugged, dependable, and lethally penetrative. Type 64 and 77. Domestic designs. By 1964, Beijing decided they wanted a domestically designed sidearm. The result was the Type 64, heavily inspired by the Walther PPK. This was strictly an officer's pistol. It was chambered in a proprietary low-pressure 7.62 by 17 mm cartridge. From a defensive standpoint, the ballistics are completely anemic. It barely matches the energy of a commercial .32 ACP. Between the terrible trigger pull and the rudimentary sights, it was designed to sit in a leather holster and look authoritative, rather than serve as a serious combat implement. The Type 77 is where Chinese weapons design takes a very strange turn. Still using that underpowered 7.62 by 17 mm round, this became the standard issue for over 2 decades. What makes it wild is the integrated cocking mechanism on the trigger guard. The front strap of the guard is hinged and connected directly to the slide. The idea was that a soldier could carry the weapon with an empty chamber for maximum drop safety. When the draw stroke happened, you would wrap your trigger finger around the front of the guard, pull backward to rack the slide, and chamber around with one hand. As a defensive instructor, I look at that and see a massive, negligent discharge waiting to happen under stress. It is a highly complex mechanical solution to a basic training problem. Final thoughts. Wrapping things up, the evolution of Chinese sidearms is a serious subject for anyone studying global conflict. They have transitioned from crude, locally machined copies to highly effective armor-piercing polymer weapon systems. That 5.8 mm duty round is a legitimate threat on the modern battlefield, and their standard 20-round capacity easily rivals our current NATO standard issue. If you found this deep dive into adversarial weapon systems valuable, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments section. Would you ever trust a rotating barrel mechanism on your everyday carry gun? Train hard, stay situationally aware, and I'll see you out on the range.